Welcome to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Eric and Rob.
Gordy and Sean had dead-end jobs.
People always said I was a dreamer, an idiot, and a waste of life, and I will never amount to anything.
No luck with the ladies.
Brittany, let's go out again. We'll talk about me and you. Dude, you're in there.
And no one to look up to.
Freeze! Your sister shot her first perp today.
That's nice, Gabby.
But at least they had a hero.
Jimmy King is the greatest wrestler of all time.
Wrestling's fake.
Wrestling's not fake! Down goes Jimmy King! Oh my God, a four-post massacre! No one can survive this! There isn't even a pay-per-view! Damn it! We made it! We're alive! Would that be raw sewage I'm smelling?
I kind of always like that smell.
Now, these dreamers
Me and my associate, we're on a quest to find King.
It's him! King!
will go to any lengths
Please, crowd out! No! Oh, that was great!
and do whatever it takes
We got a friend. He's gonna get you a trainer.
Everybody knows wrestling's fake.
to put their king
Don't feel fine?
back on his throne.
Any match, anytime. The steel cage. Steel cage wins. Whoa! It's done. Bring it on!
We are
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast. 3GW here on a Saturday night, here doing our second ever movie review. I'm your host, Mr. Eric, joined by my co-host, Mr. Rob. What is going on, sir? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling all right. You know, I had never seen this movie before. It was pretty much what I expected, but without saying too much, we'll go on and talk about it today.
All right, and we are joined by, of course, MJ Book, who was with us on our first movie review. How you doing, sir?
Another day in paradise. I got my beer. I'm ready to go.
Okay, so how many of those did you need to get through this?
I can tell you the exact amount. 8.
8.
8.
Well, we're going to attempt to not show our hands before we give our final grades of this film, but I think that's going to be difficult this time around. At least for me. I know how Book feels about this movie. I'm very curious to see what Mr. Rob feels. I
think we know. We know what he feels. Based off the last one, we know.
Yeah. Okay, so we've been doing the movie reviews. I'm trying to go in kind of chronological order of release. So no holds barred, and we're going to jump a whole decade to 2000. So from 1989 to 2000s, Ready to Rumble, starring David Arquette, Scott Caan, Oliver Platt, Rose McGowan, Diamond Dallas Page, Bill Goldberg, and Joe Pantoliano, directed by Brian Robbins. This film was put out more so as an attempt, and I underlined that word, attempt, to bring back an audience that WCW had lost to WWF at the time. For the longest time, WCW was winning the ratings war, but once Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock got more and more popular, they lost, and they didn't know how to be creative anymore. And we had to include the fact that the idiot Vince Russo was then in charge of WCW. So anything he touches, just turns to shit. So here's some fun facts about this film. that you
Mhm.
all may or may not be aware of. Starting off so the two stunt doubles for Oliver Platt and David Arquette. Any clue who the stunt doubles were? They're actual wrestlers.
No, not. I have no idea.
No, I
So-
didn't research it.
So Shane Helms was David Arquette's stunt double,
Makes sense.
and Chris Canyon was the stunt double for Oliver Platt, who plays Jimmy King.
Well, Canyon was a technical advisor or something. I remember his name in the credits like that.
Yeah, he was in charge of all the choreography, if you want to call it that. Did you? Okay, so a wrestler that we
Here we
all
go.
know,
Here we go.
the doctor of thugonomics,
Yep.
made his on-screen debut in this film. It is very brief, and you blink and you seriously do miss it. But in the scene with Goldberg in the gym, in the back, you can see a bleach blonde John Cena lifting weights, and that was his feature film debut, actually.
Mm-hmm. You could see him clear as day.
Yeah, now I caught that. Was he working for WCW at the time, or was he just
Indie. He was indie.
Okay?
Yeah, they probably just grabbed anybody that could get on the scene.
They were looking
was
for
in shape.
bodies.
Yeah, pretty much. Eric Bischoff was fired just before this film was made, and which was, I didn't realize that until after I watched it, because I knew that the Titus Sinclair character was pretty much Eric Bischoff. So that's he was going to play himself in the movie, but he was let go.
That would have made the movie better.
Rey Mysterio legitimately hurt his knee in the beginning of the film with that tag team scene when he has to do the Hurricane Rana. They had him do it so many times because they wanted to get the different camera angles that he ended up hurting his knee, and he was out for like 9 months.
Yep. It was hysterical. Like, damn, y'all can't even do that right.
Now, this is gonna blow your mind right here. There was plans for a sequel.
Yep.
Like, what? First of all, this movie had lost money. The budget was $24 million. They only made half of the budget. This movie made $12.7 million.
Do you know
that
if
is
for
awful.
the sequel? Well, did they? Sometimes you make a movie and you plan the sequel already assuming the first one will be a hit. I mean, they couldn't have planned the sequel after it tanked, could they?
Look, man, Warner Brothers. Sometimes, now there have been movies that were in complete shit and they made sequels to them.
Ghost Rider.
Yes.
It probably would have been about David Arquette's career. It probably would have been about his
I
wrestling
actually
career.
didn't mind Ghost Rider, but the second one was terrible. Oh, Oliver Platt, in the beginning of the film, he actually hit Randy Savage in the face. If you look at the
Bloopers.
the bloopers at the end,
Outtakes.
he hit Randy Savage in the face.
He punched him right in the face. I bet he was scared shitless.
Bruh, did you see how Jack Randy was? Woo.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to punch that brother in the face.
Yeah, if he was smart, he just turned around and ran.
I don't think he would have been able to get far.
No. And they're in the middle of nowhere too, so well, let's get to the plot, and then we get to the breakdown and get this over with. Here we go.
Plot? There's a plot in this?
Yeah, somewhat. Gordy Boggs and Sean Dawkins are sewage workers by day and huge wrestling fans by night. When the two decide to attend the WCW Monday Nitro event to see their hero, Jimmy King, played by Oliver Platt. King is the undefeated and current world champion, but on this night, wrestling promoter Titus Sinclair, played by Joe Pantoliano, decided it's time for the King to lose to his heel opponent, Diamond Dallas Page. He is also subsequently fired and spirals into a serious depression. Gordy and Sean set out to find Jimmy King and bring him back to wrestling. They eventually find the wrestler in a trailer park, cross-dressed as a woman.
He just said that.
Yeah, they convinced King to start training and even crash WCW Nitro event and get a cage match with DDP and $1 million cash at the next pay-per-view. The match turns out to be a triple cage style match with help from Goldberg, Booker T, and Sting. King is able to drop Page through the three cages and pick up the win.
He went quick.
The movie ends at the convenience store with Sean telling kids that dreams can come true, and then we see Goldberg handling the store owner his ass in his wrestling gear,
Trunks.
And the crew ride off in a Hummer with, I guess, a hot tub in the back of it as the credits roll. I couldn't make that shit up if I tried.
He went right through it.
I mean, this was okay. So we open up the movie at Lusk Shopping Stop, and we got Sean outside explaining to these three kids, and why the hell these kids out at night? Where are the parents? I mean, what's going on? But he's just giving a kind of history of wrestling and then the history of Jimmy King, and he has his WCW magazine. And here comes the store owner mocking them both and then threatening the kids and throwing their bikes for leaving their bikes up by the door. And then we get the daydream scene with Gordy. And this movie is almost starting out like another movie we reviewed with the pseudo wrestling match here. This isn't quite the same.
There's no growling.
There's no growling, but there was no arena either. Apparently goes in, he wants another Slurpee, and the owner doesn't want to give him one, and it turns into a match. And the freaking floor, there's ropes that set up the floor, shaking like it's a ring. And Macho Man shows up
With Gorgeous George.
with Gorgeous George. I guess he gets the pin and the win because King, Jimmy King shows up and helps him get the win over the store owner, but he's of course just daydreaming, and he apparently drank all the Slurpee, and he was supposed to be sharing it with Sean. So instead of just pulling out another $1 and buying another one,
Here we go. More Dookie. A lot of Dookie in this for you, Rob.
What is it with these wrestling movies and the toilet humor?
Oh, this goes way further than Noel's part did.
it seemed to go hand in hand. I don't know what's going on, but and again, I hadn't seen this movie in 15 years, so I was totally shocked. I was like, wow. And here I am thinking we're departing from Noel's bar and we're just picking right back up.
Well, I just want to see how you explain this next scene. I want to hear how you word this.
But there's really no other way to word it. Just see what happened. I mean, stuck his finger up his butt. And then he goes and complains about his Slurpee smelling funny and takes the shitty hand and raises it up to the clerk's face. And the clerk, okay, it's one thing to go, ooh, that's nasty. He keeps smelling it. That's just nasty. Let me keep smelling ass. I haven't got enough ass yet.
And Noah David Arquette, he probably really stuck his finger up his ass.
I don't even want to. Isn't this the second movie he's done that? Oh no, that was Scary Movie. That was a play on him. Never mind.
Yeah, it was a play. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
My grade was already in at this point, but I'll still save the mystery for later.
What mystery?
There's no mystery with this.
All right. So then we get Gordy's dad showing up. I don't understand his point in this movie outside of, obviously he's the dad that doesn't approve of Gordy being a wrestling fan, but this is one of those plot holes again where it's very inconsistent. I don't know. It's supposed to be played for humor, but it doesn't work. So then we go and we I guess we get a day in the life of Sean and Gordy, and they're sewage workers. So if you didn't get enough of the poop jokes yet, these two live in shit. They go around sucking shit out of porta potties, and
Did you just say that? Sucking shit.
that's what they do. They suck the shit out of the porta potties and then go into the truck, the receptacle, and I guess they go somewhere else and dump in the reservoir. I don't know. I don't know what happens to the truck after the fact, but
Yes, you do.
that truck, well, this particular truck didn't make it. So, we get the little part where Sean try and take a dump, and Gordy plays the prank on him to turn on the vacuum while he's sitting on the toilet. I mean, I guess that was kind of funny, but I mean, it was predictable. And then let's just get to Monday Nitro. Packed crowd in this tiny ass arena, apparently. But they did get the real people for this. And that was kind of the only thing that made this movie legit. You had the legit players in the movie. You had Tony Schiavone, Mike Tenay, the announcers. Rest in peace, Mean Gene Okerlund. The main event match for the World Heavyweight Championship is Jimmy King versus DDP. And then we get backstage. We see Booker T, Goldberg, and DDP with Sinclair. Sinclair is the Booker, a.k.a. Eric Bischoff, who is just kind of laying out how the finish is going to go. And initially, it's the same finish with King going over on DDP, but that plan soon changes, and he lets DP know he's going over, and the streak will end for the King. I can't really say this was much of a match. I mean, these two were fighting their way, Sean and Gordy, I'm talking about, fighting their way through the crowd to sit closer, because their real seats were like what do they call it when you go to the arena?
No,
not the nosebleed, but the view, obstructive view. So the obstructive view. Yeah, that's what they call those tickets. So they snuck their way down, which I'm sure actually did happen at WCW shows. Let's be real. Jimmy cuts a retard. I mean, I'm sorry, a terrible promo. And I'm like, why is everybody else in the ring? Who are these people? Like, you got random ass wrestlers. Was it Juventud and Bam Bam Bigelow and
Sayakea?
These people would never hang out. What the hell? And I guess they're DDP's guys, and then Goldberg has King has that Goldberg and Kidman,
Perfect,
Disco Inferno. Oh yeah, Mr. Perfect was there. Kurt Hennig. I don't know, but the whole point of the match was for King to lose, DDP to win, which he does. They hit what do they call it, the Four Corner Massacre.
Yeah.
Which nobody gets up from. And they beat King. Sinclair gets on the mic and tells everybody that the King is gone, the King's dead, he's fired from WCW. The new King is DDP.
He says, "Rest in peace." A lot of nods to WWE in this.
There was a nod to Vince later on in the film too.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell them who to like. I was like, oh, that was a shot at Vince.
That's Vince.
Let's see. Yeah. So King loses, which brings these two guys to all, they're all sad and shit. Claim there's allergies and they're crying and they're driving in their shit truck back home, and they lose control of the truck and it turns over and it's just leaking shit all over the place. And then they even admit that they like the smell.
Well, remember they were eating right next to that thing of shit that kept dripping? Enter Rob. Here's more shit for you.
Well, there's more left because the police and fire department show up to clean it up, and I guess coming around the mountain, there's an 18-wheeler, and he doesn't see him till it's too late, and he slams on his brakes and just plows right into this receptacle truck, and shit just sprays on everybody. Oh, and this trailer that he was hauling was ironically carrying toilet paper.
Toilet paper.
Okay, all right, Rob. We can call that the end of the first act. I gotta know what's going through your head, man.
Well, man, I already said it. What is up with toilet humor in these wrestling films? I mean, how old are we here? Now, look, when this movie came out, year 2000, that would have made me 34 years old. I mean, dookie jokes, I stopped laughing at those when I was maybe 12, 13. I'm just thinking, at this point, like I said, my grade was already in. I'm just thinking, this ain't funny. It's just gross. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not laughing or giggling. Okay, shit flying everywhere. Hey, kind of funny. But mostly it's the whole movie. Yeah, man. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say, man. I thought it was No Holds Barred. But this take it to a whole nother level.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So I'm noticing, like, with No Holds Barred, you were like angry, like stopping me constantly. It seems like with this one, you just don't have no idea what to say.
I think it sucked his brain matter out.
Yeah, man. It was more than I expected with the Kaibo scene. The scene you spoke about with the slushy, and now here we are with paramedics and policemen covered in shit. But hey, at least there was toilet paper.
But did you notice when the stars got covered in shit, the next time it showed them, they were bone dry. They were bone dry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like even when they're walking,
they're bone dry.
In hitchhiking, I'm like, dude's hair's dry, his clothes are clean. I'm like, this is bad editing.
Supposed to be raw sewage.
Yeah. Whoever directed this film, I should have looked him up to see what else he directed, or if he ever got another directing job.
Oh, I'm gonna look that up right now. I'm looking at Internet Movie Database, so I'm clicking on his name.
Because there's no way.
I'm sure. Oh yeah, he did.
What did he direct?
Did. Shaggy Dog.
More shit.
Norbert.
He directed Norbert. Norbit?
He was a producer.
Oh, okay.
And he's currently working. Rugrats.
Okay, well then that sums up why the humor in the audience he's looking for if he's a part of Rugrats. Okay, well the two hitchhike with a group of nuns to Atlanta, and they start singing. And Rob probably got a kick out of this part. They start singing Eddie Van Halen.
Running with the Devil. That was the song.
Yeah, I was like, they're really gonna sing this? These nuns? Okay. So they eventually find Jimmy. We're just gonna have to just jump around here. There's a lot of shit.
Well, remember what the nuns were doing in the van, evidently.
Yeah, you're gonna
gloss over that.
Oh, go ahead.
They were farting. So there you go. More shit jokes.
I missed that part.
They were farting.
Yeah, what happened was after the nuns had dropped them off, I think it was Sean who asked Gordy, hey dude, were you farting? And Gordy says, no. Was it you? And he said, no. And they said, well, it must have been the nuns. And then Gordy goes, yeah, the farting nuns. Like that. just more on top of it.
Yeah,
just keep
I
going.
don't know. I don't know, man. It's. I promise the next wrestling film will not have any toilet humor.
I think I know
Promise.
what the next one has to be.
Yeah, and ugh. So they do eventually find Jimmy, and like I mentioned in the plot, he's in this trailer park. And yes, I know they found his wife first. I'm skipping over stuff because there's too much real shit in this film that could have been taken out. If they took out the needless shit, this movie would have been an hour.
I'm
That's
running
how
out of
much.
beer.
That's how much shit is in this movie. But they find Jimmy. He's in a trailer park, dressed up as a woman. Of course, he's depressed and going through, losing his job. He's lost his fame. Now, this would happen yesterday. Uh, I don't think you go from being on top one day and you're rolling in the dough to the next day you're driving around in an RV, broken down ass RV with no money.
That he stole.
Hawking guys for $30.
He stole that RV. He couldn't even afford to get his own. He stole it.
I mean, I know all wrestlers don't make money like The Rock and John Cena, but I mean, you're making six figures. It just seemed a little unrealistic to me. And of course, they convince him to, go on this journey, and they end up wrestling him in his trailer. they he does his finisher on them, and they wake up and he's pouring beer on them, and I'll take the first leg, and they head on to New York to go to Monday Nitro. So we're at Monday Nitro number 2. Here we go, back in the porta potty, and I guess they somehow got jobs up there as sewage, or they
Great
stole
security.
somebody's uniforms. I don't know how they got in there, but
That WCW security.
yeah, they got in the arena, and they're trying to set up King to provoke DDP and Sinclair, and it works because DDP is just so having to be backstage, getting ready to set up for a promo at the same time, and King comes out. They get into a fight. Sean and Gordy attack Sinclair. I mean, and King comes off the top of a porta john and hits the double axe handle on DDP, and he pins DDP. There just so happened to be a ref standing there too. I didn't know that this was the 24/7 championship. All of a sudden,
I was waiting for you to say it. I was waiting for you to say that.
And, man, I just I was ready to be done with this film. Had another 40 minutes.
Yeah, but don't gloss over the best part of that entire scene.
Go
The
ahead.
Nitro Girls.
Oh,
Looking in the
yes,
Nitro Girls.
yes,
that was
yes.
actually good. That was a
Yeah.
good part.
Well, I guess I should mention that that's where Gordy finally got to meet Sasha, who was his favorite Nitro girl. There's just so much bullshit in this movie. It's hard to stay on track and stick with the quote unquote plot and the main characters here.
I have to agree with Rob. My favorite Nitro girl was the Asian, but you get to see Booker T's wife's back there.
Yes, Charmel was there.
Charmel was there.
My favorite was the blonde. She had the short hair.
I know what you're talking about. Mine was the
Yeah.
Asian. I gotta quote Rob. I love that Asian one.
Yeah. So in the end, Sinclair says, no, it's not how we're gonna do this. So they're demanding a match, and they're gonna get a match at the next pay-per-view. It's a cage match for the championship and $1 million. But if King loses, he has to quit wrestling forever, which he's a little hesitant about this, but Gordy and Sean are just agreeing, and the deal's done. And they go to have a party, quote unquote. It's like a party with the homeless because they're not even inside anywhere.
But all the wrestlers are there.
and Sasha shows up. and meets Gordy meets Sasha in person. I mean, I don't know. I'm so disinterested in this film. This was painful to watch. All right. I'm gonna skip around here because there's so much shit that doesn't make sense. I don't know why we had to have like this, like if we're gonna go on the stuff that doesn't make sense in this film, why do we have these cut scenes with this old ass lady watching wrestling?
Oh God! Well, you remember her from? She was the old lady who was rapping in The Wedding Singer. It's the same one.
Yeah, God rest her soul. I'm not saying anything about the actress.
She was funny in that.
And then the scenes with that trainer,
Martin Landau.
Yeah, those were so bad. And I did enjoy the scene with Sid Vicious.
I think he's passed away too. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. He has passed away. I looked him up.
Martin Landau. Yeah. But look, I have to say, I hate to admit I enjoyed anything about this film, but I did find some humor in those scenes with Sal Bandini.
Well, I know you did. I know who you were probably thinking of when you saw Sal. Were you thinking of Stu Hart?
Well, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I knew you would.
Yeah. So skipping around here because I just want to get to the end of this shit. Gordy eventually does hook up with Sasha, and that scene was kind of funny too because she's talking about wrestling moves, but trying to be, trying to seduce him, and he's talking about actually wrestling. And I'm like, come on, man, snap out of it. You can't be that blind, and you got this beautiful. Well, she was alright, but for him, that was his crush.
Oh, she was hot back then. I gotta say this. I'd seen this movie before, and I watched this with an ex-girlfriend, and because we shared movie nights, and this was her movie. That's how I ended up watching it on VHS, by the way. When we got to that part, the love scene, I remember I had to look away. My eyes needed to reset because the movie was so shit. To this point, I had to look away. My eyes were just dying from the shit I was looking at. I had to look away, and I did the same thing today. When I watched it yesterday, I had to look away.
Yeah, this scene was irritating me because I'm like, dude, you just not think about wrestling for 5 minutes. Your crush, this celebrity dancer is in his bedroom. He's trying to sleep with you, and all you can think about is wrestling.
Well, evidently
I mean, how stupid can you be? I mean, I already know by this time that this movie has no redeeming value, that these guys are just stupid ass knuckleheads. But this scene really took it to a whole nother level of stupidity.
Well, I guess they eventually did do it.
Yeah.
I guess they eventually did do it because they talked about, he lost his virginity or whatever, and they show up in the next scene holding hands, and she's got the dress on. And this is the scene we talked about earlier when we get John Cena. They're still looking for help to train the King, and okay, well, let me turn to my old tag team partner who happens to be Goldberg.
Your boy. How did you like how your boy was in this movie? I was curious how you like they made him look in this freaking movie.
He was doing fine. He did fine in the first scene. He did fine in this scene. I thought this scene, he was himself. He was fine. I thought it worked. I think this was like almost a call out to Ric Flair, almost, because he was like, you still mad about what happened in Akron. He was like, you were drunk. And I was like, was that a shot at Ric Flair?
Probably. There was a lot of shots at WWE at this point.
Well, Ric Flair was in WCW at the time, I think.
He was. He was there till the end, unfortunately.
And eventually, as you get to the point where he's like, "Look, I used to work with the guy. I used to love the guy, but I ride alone now." And this was just a shitty setup. Like, how are we supposed to know that they used to be tag team partners? Like, why would we know that? Like, they gave no histrionics about the King, nothing. We're just all of a sudden supposed to believe that this fat dude in a night outfit is just what he's supposed to be, Jerry the King Lawler and somebody else rolled into one.
Oh, I'm so glad you said Jerry. Jerry could not have been liking the fact that this guy was calling himself. That was a shot at Jerry.
Maybe it was. Maybe this was like, just trying to bury Jerry the King Lawler. I don't know. But Jerry did it better. That's all I got to say.
Harley Race did it better. King Booker did it better.
King Booker did it better. Yeah. All right. Fast forward and even more. Because there's so I would be here all night if we go through every detail of this fucking movie.
You picked us to watch this movie.
We're doing the history. All right, this is for history. Didn't say I was going to enjoy every bit of it. This was awful.
More like shistery shit.
Gordy would eventually hook up with, not Gordy. Sean would eventually hook up with that fast food chick in the RV, and we get the pointless part where he has to have his ass hanging out. And I don't know why we need to see that, but
because that's what you get in a movie like this.
And Gordy's dad takes him away to be a cop because we gotta separate everybody now, and the King has to go off on his own, and well, half on his own. Sean is with him. He's the manager now. All right, let's get to Las Vegas for the Royal Bash.
Another jam-packed crowd.
Yeah, looks like the same crowd for that first scene, doesn't it?
Because it probably was. They're probably the same chairs.
And it's the main event time. The King versus DDP with Michael Buffer at the helm. It moves car ready to rumble. You gotta have Michael Buffer doing his shtick.
That's where the money went. That's where the money went, to Michael Buffer.
It went somewhere. It did not go in this movie. Match starts, and first of all, they call it a cage match earlier. It's a triple cage, so it's like a pyramid. They will go on to use this cage at a real WCW pay-per-view, Slamboree 2000, with David Arquette as the WCW champion,
with some great gear.
Facing DDP and Jeff Jarrett. And no, we will never, ever, ever do a retrospective on that show.
Please no. But now that you've said that, one of the listeners is going to friggin' suggest it.
I'm going to tell them no. Sorry. I'm not going to do it. I looked at that card because of this cage. That card is shit.
It's
okay?
Shit.
It is absolute shit.
It's bad. It's bad.
DDP and King are going at it, and then DDP brings out the handcuffs, but Sean is at ringside, and he tricks him with the baby powder, and he ends up handcuffing Paige to the cell. Sinclair brings out the cavalry with Sid Vicious, Bam Bam Bigelow, Juventud, and Saturn to attack King, but King fights them off with a ladder. Oh, we didn't even talk about this. So let's go back a little bit. When they found Jimmy King in this trailer, he's like rambling on. He's talking about how his parents died and his wife left him and his son was in a wheelchair. None of that shit was true. And they were like, well, no, your parents are alive. Your son's not in a wheelchair, and we met your wife. So the point is, his son ended up being in the match as well. He was wearing a horrible mask. Like, you didn't know that was him. It's only covering his eyes. And his son ends up clotheslining him. This gate comes down, and you got Goldberg, Booker T, Kidman, and Disco Inferno of all people.
That's the one that made no sense. Why was
no
Disco Inferno there?
So they run down to the cage and they're trying to get in, but the cage is locked. And then here comes Gordy. I have so many problems with this next part.
Only
Um,
this part.
Flying in on a motorcycle through the air, through the cage.
Where was the ramp?
Where was the ramp? I went back and watched it. So they did lift the ramp for him to go through. But that was fast. Oh my god, this match is just so bad. And so now a brawl ensues. We see, Goldberg spear, jackhammer, Saturn, a bunch of other stuff. But King and DDP fight their way to the top of the cage. Sting is waiting at the top, and he gives the assist to the King, and he's able to knock DDP through all three cages. And I'm like, this looked familiar too. But except in this case, DDP didn't die. So
Oh yeah, I was thinking that too.
and King goes up and he gets the world championship, and he is once again world champion. We get this corny ass scene at the end. I don't even remember who did he end up picking as his tag team partner.
David Arquette. That probably was the sequel setup right there. That was your sequel setup.
Okay. Well, he went to Goldberg and he tried to be his partner again, but he said, "Oh no, I actually have somebody else in mind." And yeah. Okay. We end the film, of course, back at the convenience store with Sean
We're in the same
concluding
clothes.
wearing the same shit. But now the kids are wearing crowns, and they're all on the cover of WCW magazine. And he explained to the kids that yes, your dreams can come true. And then the store owner gets thrown through the glass by Goldberg wearing his ring gear for whatever fucking reason. And then they all jump in a Hummer and drive off as credits roll.
Should the fast food girl been in that truck?
This movie is a heaping, steaming pile of shit that will never, ever be watched again. This is beyond painful to get through. My eyes just bleed the ugly as hell. F of them all. Not recommend. Will never, ever watch this shit again.
Oh, I'm not even going to give this an F. That's an insult to the Fs I've given in the past. I said it before. I had to watch this before. I was dating a girl, and we traded off on movies. I'd pick a movie. We would watch it together. She'd pick a movie. She picked this. I had avoided it like a plague. She loves this movie. I watched it and was in absolute hell. This movie is, and I don't mean any hyperbole when I say this. I mean this 100% with every fiber of my soul. This is one of the worst movies that has ever existed. It is god awful. It is torture. And I paid $3 to watch that shit. It is terrible, horrible, horrific. I never want to see this movie again unless I'm getting $1 billion. It has to be $1 billion for me to sit through this again. God awful. I think anybody who rips on No Holds Barred will think that is fucking Gone with the Wind. That is Gone with the Wind, The Wizard of Oz, The Godfather. That is all the great movies when you compare it to this shit. The only compliments I can give is the Nitro Girl scene in the locker room. I'll give that a prop. I actually didn't mind the brawling at the very end between the King and DDP. That actually wasn't that bad at the end. Just between them. That wasn't too bad. And Martin Landau actually made me laugh. His character made me laugh a couple of times. A couple of times he made me laugh. Other than that, this movie can suck a fat one. Horrible. I never want to watch this movie again. This is cruel and unusual punishment. This should be used as a torture device.
Okay. Well, Rob, when you grade, make sure you let us know which is. If you had to watch No Holds Barred or this again,
I can't wait for this.
which would you pick?
Well, all right. Well, here's what I would pick. I would grab a Phillips head screwdriver, gouge both of my eyes out so that I wouldn't have to make that choice. Okay. I haven't heard or seen so many shit jokes, fart jokes. You know, man, and I gave No Holds Barred an F, and it was a hard F. But man, I can honestly say this movie was so much worse.
Thank you. Thank you. That
It
makes
was-
it worth it.
Somebody owes me $3.20, $2.99 plus tax. Somebody owes me
Exactly.
an hour and 47 minutes of my life back. Somebody owes me a portion of my brain back.
It's you.
Okay, this was just complete torture. I can't. I've seen so many movies, so many bad movies. Now, I don't know if I can say that this one is the absolute worst, but this is in my bottom 10, bottom 5. From the moment he stuck his finger in his butt and had the dude in the convenience store sniff it out, trying to get that was it. My grade was in. That was it for me. If we hadn't been doing this podcast, I would have turned that movie off right then and there.
Oh yeah, it was hard for me, man. I was like, do we? I already committed to it, so let's go.
Absolutely brutal. No way I'd ever watch this one again. No Holds Barred. Is there a possibility? Oh damn. I'm watching the undercard here. Nate Robinson just got knocked down by Jake Paul.
Good.
But
He
anyway.
should.
This is look, man. I really I'm speechless. We're doing a
Speechless.
podcast. I'm supposed to be able to talk and say things. I'm speechless here.
Yeah,
I'm just
That's the-
shocked
That's the
shocked
right
by
rating.
what I saw at just how bad it was. I knew going in it was going to be a bad movie, but it was far worse than I could have even imagined.
yeah,
So,
man. Go ahead with your grade. I'm sorry.
Oh man, yeah, I mean, come on,
Say
man.
it,
You know
say
what this is.
Say it. Just say it.
Yeah,
Say your phrase.
This is an F. This was ugly as hell.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. Say your phrase, bro.
All right. There's no other way around it. No nice way to say it. If ever anything deserves that, this is it. Of all, we've been doing this podcast for,
2 years.
gosh,
It's
2
the
years
worst-
now.
It's the worst
Of
thing
all the
we've ever
matches I've seen, of the couple of movies we've done, this is by far the lowest grade of anything that we've watched. This is the worst thing that
Yes.
we've talked about on this podcast.
It's the worst
Yeah.
thing we've ever watched.
Yeah, this is
This
like
is bad.
I really I sincerely, I'm not being funny. I sincerely went into this movie thinking, oh yeah, this was better than No Holds Barred.
No, it's
Because remember, I hadn't seen it in 15 years, so I didn't remember. And I'm watching, I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is half of this movie has nothing to do with wrestling. At least with No Holds Barred, it all had to do with the players in the movie. And it was I don't know. This was
Hey, at least with this, you knew where you were every time. We knew we were in New York. At least
Yeah.
we knew where we were. We got to
Okay.
give them that prop. We knew where they were every time.
we got one thing No Holds Barred didn't have. Location.
Yeah, we didn't know where the hell they were. I'm
No.
assuming it was California, but we knew where this movie was every time.
Yeah. Well, I am not going to.
Yeah, guys, we got to start picking movies.
I think the
Well,
next
yes,
one will be a
then
good
the next
one.
one
The next
is
one
going
should
to
be
be
a good one.
one.
It has to be only one other movie.
Yes, and so the next movie review will be starring Mickey Rourke,
There we go.
the wrestler.
That I can't wait for. I've never seen it.
That's a really good movie. I think
I've never watched it, so that I can't wait for.
I can't remember though. I don't know if I watched this with you, Rob, or we just talked about it when it came out in the past. I watched it with somebody. It's a really good movie. It's really good. Well made. This is we're going from shit in the sewers to Oscar nominated type movie. So
And Marissa Tomei.
oh yeah.
Aunt May.
You would enjoy her
Aunt May.
in that film.
I've already seen those pictures.
This movie,
It's
You won't be thinking Aunt May when you watch that movie.
I will be, just in a different way.
now this is going to be good to talk about.
Yeah. So that won't be the next one. Probably be a while because
We need to recover.
Well, yeah, I need to space out the movie reviews though, because there's only so many wrestling movies we can talk about. But that will be next, and I'm sure we won't be giving out the Fs on that one. So
I don't think there was any Fs.
and there's I don't know if there's zero, but there's no toilet humor in that movie.
I would hope not.
No dookie. No more dookie. Well, if you all listening got through this podcast the same way we got through this movie, I don't know if I have enough thanks to give you.
You deserve an award.
Yeah.
And an apology. We owe you an apology for this one.
I think we need the apology for watching it again.
Well, I was just about to say I appreciate Rob and Book for watching and suffering with me. I didn't have to suffer alone, and
I had to watch this again. I already knew it was bad. Rob, this was the first.
I had different memories of this movie. I really did.
How could you forget?
Were they good memories?
He was young.
Yeah, you gotta remember the age.
He was young.
So
That's why he doesn't remember.
2000, I was what? 13? Yeah. So
I definitely wasn't that. I was 22, so I knew this was shit.
yeah, I was 13, going into high school. So yeah. Different time. Well, again, listeners, thank you all for listening. And if you actually did take the hour and 47 minutes, like Rob said, and watch that long ass, retarded ass movie, I'm sorry.
Don't insult retarded with this.
Thank you though for watching. In order to listen to the podcast, you don't necessarily have to watch the movie. Let me put that out. You don't have to watch the movie. You can just listen to this, and that's enough.
Public service.
Yeah, Eric, just be real. Don't watch the movie.
It's a public
no.
Tell them they don't have to tell them not to watch it.
It's a public service.
Yeah,
We're doing a public
warn them.
service. We're saving
Warn them,
lives.
do not watch this movie.
We're
Yeah.
saving lives.
Well, I didn't recommend it. If that helps, I said it in my review. I do not recommend this movie. So, yeah, there's that. You should check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Third Generation Wrestling Podcast, and Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I'm still working on Google Podcasts, and we do have a few shows on. What's the one? The one on that SoundCloud. So we have a few podcasts on there. There's a cap unless you get a membership, and I haven't done that yet. So, and make sure you go check out MJ Books Podcast, the Countdown Podcast 2020, where myself and Mr. Rob have been special guests, and we don't talk. Well, we do talk wrestling over there, but in different ways. it's all countdowns. But they also talk about mostly films, characters, all sort of topics that
Yep.
book counts down. And
Mr. Rob was just a guest on my show. We counted down Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
yes.
Fun shit.
Shout out to Rob for that jingle all the way. I didn't think it was gonna make it. I didn't think it was
I
gonna.
had that one on there.
Yeah. I think that's about it. Outside of it, making sure everybody stays safe out there with this whole COVID stuff, and it's getting worse, and we all need to do our part. I think the vaccine is being slowly put out there, and if you have a chance to get it, I get it. Let's put an end to this, because New Zealand, they found a way to get rid of COVID completely. So whatever they did, we need to follow.
Countries like that are smarter than us.
Yeah,
Probably
pretty
better
much.
leadership.
No comment. No comment.
And Mr. Rob, you got anything?
Well, especially in this case, I always want to thank the listeners, but I especially want to thank them for suffering through this one. We appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Yes.
Let's hear from you.
We love you.
Yes. So once again, excuse me. Y'all take care out there. I don't have Rona. I'm just clearing my throat.
Sad you have to say that.
You do. But everybody take care. We'll speak to y'all again next week. Not sure what that show will be, but it'll be something. Take care.
What do you want, boo?
Purple sugar slush. King size.
That'll be $1.26.
$1.25. That's all I got.
That's just not good enough now, is it, you little boob? You little Jimmy the King fan boob? Oh, Jimmy King's a big fat loser. He's a sissy in tights. There's a lot of glare coming off that dome of yours, squirrel nuts. Listen, sunshine, I'm gonna open up a fresh can of whoop ass on you, boy. Yeah! Bring it on!
It's thirsty too. I'll get you a refill. No, don't sweat it. Got some more. No, come on, I feel bad. Hey, Cordy? Yeah? Why does it look like you have your finger in your butt? Because it do. Alright, Jerko, what do you want? I need a new sugar slush. Why? Because there's something wrong with this one. Smell it. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, it's awful. Ah, I know. Oh. Smells like my ass, right? Yeah, maybe your ass. It's weird, huh? Like a bitter, sour ass. Oh, it's like you poured it right from your butt. Oh, I will get you another one ASAP. Thanks. So bad. How could you drink that? I struggled through most of it, but the butt fruit just kind of settled at the bottom.
Oh, hey, Big Bill. Goldberg, what are you doing, baby? I didn't know you were in town. You're looking jacked. You're looking good. What's going on? Why are you here? What's happening?
Doing Letterman. What are you doing here? Preparing for your execution?
You don't think I have a chance?
Get real, Jimmy. Sinclair's extremely pissed off, and he's gonna make an example out of you. Face it, you're a second-rate wrestler and a third-rate man.
You still sore? Had that spot I blew in Akron, aren't you?
You were drunk.
Oh, Bill, I'm sorry, baby. I was having terrible back spasms that day.
You puked on me.
The audience liked it.
I was your partner.
Hey, I made you. Wasn't for me, you'd be nothing. Yeah? Oh! Wow.